Hey, I'm Chef Tom with All Things Barbecue, and I'm super excited to tell you guys we're joined with a special guest today. This is Todd Johns from Plowboys BBQ out of Kansas City.
Today in the All Things Barbecue kitchen, we're going to be making pot pies, and I'm here to tell you I am the king of pot pies. This is one of my family's favorites, and you know, when you're out on the barbecue circuit all the time like I am, you cook a lot of food over the weekend and you end up having a lot of leftovers. So one of the things we try to do is mix it up so that my family doesn't get burned out on pulled pork sandwiches all the time. So we try to incorporate our leftover smoked meats into other dishes that are our favorites as well. So what we're doing today is a Kansas City burnt end pot pie. What we have today is a little bit of carrot, onion, peas, and we're gonna make a roux and add some of our burnt ends that we've already made and make a great pot pie on the grill. So this is a brisket point that I've smoked over white oak using our bovine bold, Plowboys bovine bold rub. So we're gonna cut these into our signature burnt end chunks. We're gonna make them a little smaller than maybe what we might serve in the restaurant. So we're sweating our onions here a little bit, getting them to caramelize and soften up. A little kosher salt, a little oil to get them started. They're gonna release a lot of liquid. Before we put the cover on, we've given them a little head start, but we're gonna add our carrots right behind the onions and let our carrots soften up here as well. We don't wanna walk away from this. We want to continue to stir, but adding this lid is going to help things move along a little more quickly. Now that we've sauteed those vegetables, got them nice and soft, a little bit of caramelization on them, we're going to work on our roux. And the way I like to do it is not to add the flour directly into the pot. I like to make a little bit of a slurry so that I can control how much goes into the pot, but also I don't get those lumps that we all hate in our gravies. So here we go. We have a little unsalted beef stock. I always like unsalted because I like to control the amount of salt in the product. So I'm just gonna put a little bit in here. This is gonna be a very thick slurry. And by doing it this way, I'm gonna eliminate all of those lumps. This is what's going to give our pot pie that body and also that flavor. And it's that stick to your ribs thing that we all love in savory dishes. Oh yeah. So here we have our vegetables. A little soft, a little al dente actually. It's going to continue to cook in the pie itself. So I don't want to overcook my vegetables at this point. Just nice and still firm. This is a great time for us to season our pot pie mixture. And because we're doing beef today, we're gonna add some Plowboys bovine bold as our seasoning for our pot pie. Notice that all I used in the beginning was a little bit of salt to help the onions render. I'm really seasoning with my barbecue rub. And it's going to add a signature barbecue flavor to this dish. So now we're going to add some of our beef stock. Because this is a filling for a pot pie, we're not making a thin gravy. We're not making a soup. This is something that has to hold together as we're cutting the slices of the pot pie. We're going to get it in here, get it nice and hot and simmering before we add that slurry. And the beauty of working with cast iron like these Lodge pots that we're using is that they hold their heat so well and they're so efficient. They distribute your heat very evenly. Love cooking with cast iron. So as you can see, by adding our roux a little bit at a time, things are starting to thicken up for us. It's starting to look like the beef filling for a pot pie. Now what I've done after I've made my roux with my vegetables, I've taken the heat off. There's still a lot of residual heat here. I'm going to put these cold burnt ends right in here. The pan and the roux is going to help warm the burnt ends up a little bit before we put them in our pie. And the burnt ends are going to cool everything down. It's kind of that happy medium. We want things to go in a little bit warm, but we don't want to be cooking that pie crust from within before we even get it onto the pit. All right, I'll confess, I'm a barbecue guy, I'm not a baker. So this is not going to be a scratch pie crust, but if you're like my family, you're always on the go. Who's got time for that anyway? If you make your own pie crust, I'm sure it's amazing and that's the best thing for you to do. But if you're like me, you're not a baker, this is your friend. So Pillsbury Pie Crust right at your grocery store, works in a pinch, and hey, barbecue's the star, not the crust. Because we're going to put this on the grill, we're going to use the Lodge griddle, and we're just going to press one of the two pie crusts in here. This is a 10-inch Lodge cast iron, and I always like doing a bottom crust. You'll see pot pies where they just put the filling in and then do the bottom crust or the top crust. I like crust, so there we go. Our filling has been resting off the heat. The temperatures come down a little bit because the burnt ends that were cold brought it down a little bit. They've also been warmed up from the roux and the vegetables we had. The last thing we add before we build our pie is some frozen green peas. Why do we add them now? Because they're very delicate. We add them frozen, not thawed, and they will come up to temperature very quickly as the pie is baking. If we added this too early, the peas would just dissolve and be a green mush in the middle of our pie. So one little tip, add frozen green peas to the mixture right before you're ready to make. And then gently fold in. Onion, burnt ends, carrots, peas, beef stock, Plowboys bovine bold rub, all right into this cast iron. Gonna add a little egg wash to the top of our pie crust. This will make it that glossy, golden brown, magazine photo quality finish that we love. I gotta add a signature barbecue pig because I don't have a cow to this as well. So we've come outside, we've got our YS640 running here at about 400 degrees on the area that we're gonna cook on. At this point, all the insides of the pie are fully cooked. And what we're trying to do is bring the insides back up to a nice serving temperature, but we want that crust cooked. As soon as that crust looks great, our pie is done. It's about eating time. burn ends, pot pie, ready to serve. Those are the words we like to hear. So this pot pie just came off of our YS640. I think it looks pretty great, and we're gonna dig into it right now and show you what it looks like on the inside for our final reveal. So I think this looks pretty good. I think this piece is mine. You can get your own by following these instructions and the recipe that'll be provided. But there's nothing better than a burn ends pot pie. Great.
Thanks so much for watching, and a special thank you to Todd from Plowboys BBQ in Kansas City. If you guys enjoyed the video, please click the subscribe button. And if you have any questions, comments, or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to thesauce.atbbq.com. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.